Scientists are warning about zombie viruses. Warmer conditions are causing the Arctic permafrost to thaw significantly. They say some viruses that have been lying dormant thousands of years could reemerge.
The frozen wasteland at the top of the world lie bizarre and terrifying discoveries. Ancient viruses stirring, craters violently tearing the earth apart, and mysteries that defy all logic. Siberia is a land of haunting enigmas, where the unknown holds dominion. Join us as we unveil 15 of the most chilling discoveries from this deadly wilderness. Number 15, the Siberian Ice Mummies. Amidst the towering Altai Mountains, where Russia, Mongolia, China, and Kazakhstan meet, lies a land suspended in time. Here, the ice cube has acted as a silent guardian, preserving the secrets of ancient peoples, protecting their cultures, beliefs, and stories. In 1993, Russian archaeologists made an extraordinary discovery on the Ukok Plateau, close to the Russia-China border, after hearing rumors of a grave robbery. As they dug deeper into the earth, they uncovered something unexpected: a massive block of ice, frozen in time. Under the leadership of Dr. Natalia Polosmak from Novosibirsk's Institute of Archaeology and Ethnography, the team set about melting the ice. What emerged left them astonished. The mummified remains of a 20-year-old woman, later named the Siberian Ice Maiden. Also known as the Princess of Ukok, she was a time capsule of the Prehistoric people, an unsettled tribe that roamed these lands more than 2,005 years ago. Encased within a burial mound, her body was astonishingly well preserved by the freezing temperatures. She wasn't alone either. 6 horses, carefully arranged in a circle around her, lay by her side, signifying her status and importance. But it wasn't just the burial arrangement or the artifacts that surrounded her that fascinated the archaeologists. The Ice Maiden's skin was adorned with intricate tattoos, which told stories of her people and their beliefs. These delicate designs were a window into a society long gone, offering clues about rituals, customs, and the role of women in ancient times. As archaeologists continued to melt the ice, they found more astonishing relics: equipment, saddle fragments, and even a table laden with fatty sheep flesh, perfectly preserved for millennia, hinting at the lavish feasts prepared for her final journey into the afterlife. Number 14, the reawakening of prehistoric viruses. Buried deep within the frozen layers of Siberian permafrost, untouched for over 30,000 years, researchers have made an astonishing discovery: a giant virus, the newest addition to a unique category of viruses often referred to as giant viruses. This incredible find was made by a team of scientists led by Jean-Michel Claverie, the previously unknown virus, which they named Pithovirus sibericum, and even managed to bring it back to life in their laboratory. Their groundbreaking research has been Chantal Abergel from Aix-Marseille University in France. They were published in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences. Despite being called giant, these viruses remain microscopic. However, in the tiny world of viruses, these are indeed massive. The pithovirus measures 1.5 microns in length and 0.5 microns in diameter, much larger than the typical virus. The previously largest virus known, the Pandora virus, which Claverie and Abergel also discovered, measures just 1 micron in length. As the researchers explain, these are viruses you can actually see under a regular microscope, unlike most viruses, which are far too small. Giant viruses don't just stand out because of their size. They are genetically far more complex. The newly discovered pithovirus has 500 genes, while the Pandora virus can have as many as 2,005 genes. To put this into context, the HIV virus only contains about 12 genes, according to James Van Etten, a renowned virus expert and editor of the study. Even more remarkable is that, after being frozen for over 30,000 years, this ancient virus was still alive. When the researchers introduced it to amoebas in their lab, the virus immediately became active and began infecting its host cell. The team intentionally used amoebas as a safe method to capture these viruses and confirmed that the virus could not infect animals or humans. In the last decade, there has been a surge in the discovery of large, complex viruses, such as the mummy virus, Pandora virus, and now the pithovirus. These findings suggest that viruses may be much more intricate and diverse than scientists once thought. Number 13. Mysterious craters appearing in the tundra. In the summer of 2014, a group of Russian reindeer herders stumbled upon something astonishing in the remote Siberian tundra deep in the Yamal region. They discovered a massive, perfectly round hole that immediately sparked global interest. Photos of this strange crater spread rapidly, and people all over the world began to wonder, were it caused by a falling star, or perhaps even extraterrestrial beings? Located 2,002 kilometers northeast of Moscow, the hole's size was impressive, measuring 50 meters deep and 30 meters wide. Russian geoscientists soon embarked on multiple expeditions to investigate the mystery. What they uncovered was a natural, yet dramatic event. The crater had formed due to the softening of a gas hydrate, a large amount of frozen methane mixed with water that had been trapped beneath the permafrost. As the region warmed, this methane turned from solid ice into gas, expanding dramatically, by 164 times its frozen size. Under immense pressure, the gas shot upwards with a force of up to 30 kilograms per square centimeter. This sudden and explosive release sent waste from the crater flying over 180 meters away. Scientists now believe that such methane eruptions are more common in the Siberian Arctic than previously thought. In fact, they suspect that many of the lakes scattered across the Yamal Peninsula were formed in the same way during past periods of warming. Number 12. The Tunguska Event. On June 30, 1908, a massive asteroid, roughly 50-60 meters in diameter, plunged into Earth's atmosphere and exploded with the force of 10 to 15 megatons of TNT over the remote Tunguska region of Siberia. This explosion, known as the Tunguska Event, was so powerful that it flattened an estimated 2,000 square kilometers of forest, knocking down around 80 million trees. Witnesses in the scattered population of the region reported a blinding fireball streaking across the sky, followed by a thunderous explosion that was heard hundreds of miles away. The impact also created shock waves that were recorded on measuring instruments across the world. The sheer scale of the event meant that it was initially overlooked, partly due to the region's isolation and the political turbulence of Tsarist Russia. It wasn't until 1927, during a Soviet expedition led by Leonid Kulik, that scientists finally reached the site. They discovered a desolate area where trees were uprooted in a radial pattern from a central point, supporting the theory of an aerial explosion. Further investigations revealed that the explosion did not leave a crater, which led scientists to conclude that the asteroid disintegrated in the air rather than impacting the ground. This event remains the largest asteroid impact in recorded history to occur over land. Archaeologists have discovered evidence suggesting similar events in ancient history, such as the 10th century event in the Middle East, known as the destruction of the Sodom and Gomorrah theory, which some researchers speculate might be linked to a meteor explosion. In modern times, smaller asteroids regularly break apart in Earth's atmosphere, causing minimal damage. To mitigate future risks from potentially hazardous asteroids, NASA established the Planetary Defense Coordination Office. The DART Double Asteroid Redirection Test Mission, launched in 2021, tested a technique to alter an asteroid's path by crashing a spacecraft into it. This groundbreaking mission was a crucial step in safeguarding Earth from possible future collisions with space rocks. Number 11. The infamous Diatlov Pass incident. On January 27, 1959, a tragic and mysterious event happened on the treacherous slopes of Saiyan Mountain, ominously named Death Mountain in the indigenous Mansai language. 9 experienced hikers from the Ural Polytechnic Institute in Russia set out on a challenging 14-day trek through the northern Ural Mountains. The group, led by 23-year-old Igor Dyatlov, aimed to reach the summit of Gora Otorten. However, they never completed their journey, all of them meeting a grim fate on the icy slopes. A month later, searchers found their tent abandoned in strange circumstances. The tent had been slashed open from the inside, and many of their supplies were still untouched. Footprints in the snow led away from the tent, but mysteriously faded after a short distance. Strangely, the tracks revealed that the hikers had left their tent barefoot, wearing only socks, or in just one shoe. The first two bodies were discovered on February 27, lying near the remains of a fire. Shockingly, both were found wearing only their underwear, with burn marks on their bodies. One of them had even bitten off a piece of his own knuckle, possibly in sheer desperation. 3 more bodies were found between the fire and the tent, frozen in positions suggesting they were trying to crawl back to camp. The final 4 hikers were only discovered 3 months later in a nearby ravine. These bodies presented even more bizarre and horrifying injuries. 2 were missing their eyes, 1 had no eyebrows, and 1 had their tongue violently torn out. Soviet authorities conducted an investigation and concluded that 3 of the hikers died from physical trauma, while the other 6 succumbed to hypothermia. Over the years, the Diatlov Pass incident has gained global attention, and a variety of theories have emerged to explain what happened that fateful night. Explanations have ranged from ice falls to aliens, skunk ape, and even secret military experiments. Yet, the mystery remains unsolved, leaving the world wondering. Number 10. The anthrax outbreak from thawing permafrost. Russia is battling a strange and alarming anthrax outbreak in a distant region of Siberia, where dozens of people have been rushed to hospitals and, tragically, a child has died. In response, the government has evacuated some families by air, as over 2,000 reindeer have already become infected. The origins of the outbreak remain uncertain, but the leading theory is both startling and hard to believe. An intense heat wave has melted the permafrost, the thick layer of frozen soil, exposing the long-buried carcass of a reindeer that died decades ago, possibly infected with anthrax. Some scientists suggest that this incident might be a warning sign of the effects climate change could have, especially in the Arctic tundra, where such hidden threats could be revealed as the frozen ground melts. The outbreak is happening in the Yamal Peninsula, an isolated area that lies far above the Arctic Circle, near the top of the world. In this frigid environment, the ground, known as permafrost, is frozen solid, stretching more than 1,000 feet deep in some places, roughly the height of the Empire State Building. Jean-Michel Claverie, a scientist at the National Center for Scientific Research in France, explains, "The soil in the Yamal Peninsula is like a massive freezer. These conditions are perfect for preserving bacteria, allowing them to survive for incredibly long periods. In this case, the preserved bacteria are anthrax spores, believed to have killed a reindeer over 75 years ago. Russian officials think the carcass was buried beneath a thin layer of permafrost, where it remained frozen for decades. But this summer, an unexpected heat wave caused the permafrost to thaw more deeply, bringing the reindeer's remains back to the surface. As the carcass warmed, so did the anthrax spores. Infectious spores quickly spread across the tundra, infecting nearby reindeer as they grazed on the land. In response, Russian officials have ramped up efforts to contain the outbreak, vaccinating reindeer and burning the bodies of those that have died. However, this might not be the last such outbreak. Birgitta Evengard, a microbiologist from Umeå University in Sweden, warns that more cases of ancient diseases could emerge as climate change accelerates. Temperatures in the Arctic are rising 3 times faster than the global average, she explains. This rapid warming is melting the ice and melting the permafrost, which may unlock more dangerous pathogens buried in the frozen soil. Number 9. The Shigir Idol. The Shigir sculpture, also known as the Shigir Idol, holds the title of the world's oldest wooden sculpture. Carved during the Mesolithic period, shortly after the last ice age ended, this incredible piece of ancient art is more than twice the age of Egypt's Great Pyramid. The wood used to create this idol dates back roughly 12,000 years, which makes it a true relic of humanity's early creativity. The discovery of this ancient masterpiece happened in 1890 when it was found deep within a Russian peat bog. Today, it is proudly displayed at the Sverdlovsk Regional Museum of Local Lore in Yekaterinburg, Russia, where visitors can marvel at its unique history. This location, nestled on the eastern slopes of the Middle Ural Mountains near the village of Kalata, is about 100 kilometers from Yekaterinburg. Archaeological interest in the region had started 40 years prior, when various prehistoric artifacts were uncovered during gold mining operations. The sculpture was found in 10 separate pieces, and Professor D.I. Lobanov painstakingly worked to assemble the main fragments, resulting in a 2.8-meter-tall structure. However, in 1914, archaeologist Vladimir Tolmachev took a fresh look at the remaining fragments and suggested that the original height of the statue could have been impressive 5.3 meters. Unfortunately, some of these fragments were lost over time, and what remains of Tolmachev's vision exists only in his detailed drawings. Number 8. The Saiyan Mountains Ghost Villages. The Saiyan Mountains are a geological marvel, with some of the oldest rock formations in the world, dating back over 2 billion years. These mountains are part of the larger Altai-Saiyan region, which is recognized as one of the most biologically diverse and ecologically significant areas in the Northern Hemisphere. The range is home to a stunning variety of vegetation and animals, including several species found nowhere else on Earth, such as the elusive snow leopard, Siberian wild goat, and the endangered Siberian musk deer. The Saiyan Mountains are also soaked in cultural significance. For centuries, they have been sacred to the indigenous Turkic and Mongolic peoples, including the Tuvans and Buryats, who see these mountains as the home of powerful spirits. Shamanic traditions, deeply rooted in the belief of nature's divine forces, have been practiced here for millennia. In addition to their cultural and ecological importance, the Saiyan Mountains have long held strategic value. Historically, the range served as a crucial passageway for ancient trade routes like the Silk Road, facilitating commerce between East and West. The rugged terrain, however, kept much of the region inaccessible, preserving its wild beauty. Despite being largely sealed off during the Soviet era, the Saiyan Mountains have since become a destination for adventurous travelers, particularly those drawn to ecotourism, mountaineering, and trekking. The mountain's high-altitude plateaus, dense taiga forests, and crystal-clear lakes attract nature lovers and explorers from around the world. The region's unique climate, with cold winters and mild summers, supports the growth of rare medicinal plants, which have been used in traditional medicine for centuries. Moreover, the Saiyan Range plays a critical role in regulating the local climate and water systems. Its snow-capped peaks and freezing act as a natural reservoir, feeding not only the Yenisei River, but also numerous smaller rivers and streams that supply water to millions of people across Siberia and Mongolia. Number 7. The Frozen Mammoth. In 2013, a team of explorers from Northeastern Federal University made an extraordinary find on the Liakovsky Islands in northeastern Russia. They uncovered a mammoth believed to have lived between 10,000 and 15,000 years ago. The ancient creature was remarkably well preserved, thanks to the region's permafrost, soil that remains frozen year-round, keeping much of the mammoth's tissue and blood intact. What makes this discovery even more fascinating is that, despite the frigid temperatures of 14 degrees Fahrenheit, the mammoth's blood was still in liquid form and continued to seep from the animal's body. The team stored a sample of this blood in the freezer at the Mammoth Museum, where it surprisingly didn't freeze even at -17 degrees Celsius. According to Semyon Grigoriev, one of the expedition members and the museum's director, this anomaly demands thorough research to understand what kept the blood from freezing. Grigoriev speculated that the mammoth's blood may have had cryoprotective properties, natural chemicals that could prevent cells and tissues from freezing, enabling the animal to endure the harsh cold of the Ice Age. The expedition team believes the mammoth likely died of starvation, possibly after becoming trapped in a swamp. This discovery is particularly groundbreaking, as it marks the first time scientists have retrieved such well-preserved mammoth blood. Since the 1990s, scientists have tried and failed to clone mammoths using cells from previous finds. However, with this new discovery, Hopes may rise for further research into bringing these long-extinct creatures back to life. Number 6. The enigmatic Pomsky crater. The Pomsky crater, also known as the Patom crater, is a strange and fascinating rock formation situated in the remote Bodebo district of the Irkutsk region in southeastern Siberia. Located about 360 kilometers from the town of Bodebo, the crater stands in the rugged Patom highlands, surrounded by the thick natural taiga forest. This geological wonder is essentially a massive mound formed from shattered limestone blocks. It has a base diameter of roughly 160 meters and rises about 40 meters into the sky. What makes it even more intriguing is the ring-shaped crown at the top of the cone, inside which lies a smaller mound about 12 meters high. The crater is thought to hold a massive volume of around 230,000 to 250,000 cubic meters of material, weighing in at an estimated 1 million tons. First discovered in 1949 by Russian geologist Vadim Kolpakov, though already known to local indigenous communities, the Pomsky crater has sparked a lot of scientific curiosity. Various theories about its origin have been put forward, ranging from meteorite impact to volcanic activity and even gas eruptions. Yet despite numerous expeditions and research, its true origin remains a puzzle. According to tree ring dating, the crater is believed to be around 300 years old. For many years, some scientists suspected that the crater was created by a massive, ultra-dense meteorite that smashed into the ground and buried itself deep beneath the surface. Another popular idea was that it could be a fragment from the famous Tunguska meteorite that struck Siberia in 1908. Others speculated that the crater formed as a result of a natural gas explosion from a deep underground pocket. Despite these efforts, the true origin of the crater has remained elusive. However, a study conducted by researchers V.S. Antipin and A.M. Fedorov shed some new light on the mystery. By examining the crater's structure, chemical makeup, and morphology, they concluded that the crater is actually volcanic in origin. Number 5. The Siberian Ice Maiden. The mummified remains of this remarkable woman, identified as part of the Scytho-Siberian community, were found in a perfectly preserved state inside an underground burial chamber. Natalia Polosmak, a senior research fellow from the Russian Institute of Archaeology and Ethnography, made this incredible discovery alongside her team in the summer of 1993. This was her 4th season working on the remote Ukok Plateau, a place where her institute had been conducting long-term research to better understand early human settlements in southern Siberia. Despite over 2 decades having passed since this groundbreaking discovery, there are only a few detailed English-language resources that document it. The most comprehensive accounts come from Polosmak's article in National Geographic in October 1994 and a BBC documentary produced in 1997 featuring Polosmak and her team. The Ice Maiden belonged to the Pazyryk culture, which flourished from the 6th to the 2nd centuries BC on the vast windswept Siberian steppe. Her tomb was located on the Ukok Plateau, a high-altitude plain near the Mongolian border in what is now the Autonomous Republic of Altai. This plateau, part of the expansive Eurasian steppes, is known for its extreme and unforgiving climate, with frigid winds and little rainfall. Locally, the plateau is revered as the second layer of heaven, a mystical place beyond the reach of everyday life. Even today, Altai herders bring their livestock, sheep and horses, to the plateau during winter. Although the cold winds are fierce, they clear away the snow, allowing the animals to graze on the grass beneath, making the land valuable even in the harshest conditions. Number 4. The Lake Baikal Mystery. Lake Baikal, located in southern Siberia, Russia, is a natural wonder and holds the title of the deepest rift lake on the planet. Nestled between Irkutsk Oblast to the northwest and the Republic of Buryatia to the southeast, this vast body of water spans an area of 31,772 square kilometers, making it slightly larger than Belgium. It is not only the 7th largest lake by surface area in the world, but also the 2nd largest in Eurasia after the Caspian Sea. However, what truly sets Lake Baikal apart is its incredible depth. With a staggering maximum depth of 1,642 meters, it is the deepest lake on Earth. But depth isn't the only impressive feature. Lake Baikal holds the title of the largest freshwater lake by volume, containing an astonishing 23,615 cubic kilometers of water. This accounts for about 22 to 23% of the world's fresh surface water, a greater volume than all the North American Great Lakes combined. Lake Baikal is not only large and deep, but also ancient. It is the world's oldest lake, estimated to be between 25 to 30 million years old. Known for its pristine waters, it is also among the clearest lakes in the world. The area east of Lake Baikal is known as Transbaikalia, while the broader region surrounding the lake is sometimes referred to as Baikalia. In recognition of its unique environmental significance, UNESCO designated Lake Baikal a World Heritage Site in 1996. Number 3. The Tunguska Effect on Siberian Wildlife. The Tunguska event was a massive explosion that took place near the Podkamennaya Tunguska River in Russia on the morning of June 30, 1908. The blast, which is estimated to have been between 3 and 50 megatons in strength, caused widespread destruction in the remote forests of East Siberia. It flattened around 80 million trees across a staggering area of 2,150 square kilometers. Although the region was barely populated, reports suggest that up to 3 people might have lost their lives in the incident. Scientists believe that the explosion was caused by a meteor that exploded in the atmosphere before hitting the ground. This type of explosion, known as a meteor airburst, likely involved a stony asteroid about 50 to 60 meters wide, traveling at a speed of around 60,000 miles per hour. The asteroid is thought to have exploded at an altitude of 5 to 10 kilometers above the Earth's surface, which explains why no impact crater was left behind. The Tunguska event holds the record as the largest impact event in recorded history, although much bigger impacts occurred millions of years ago. If such an explosion were to happen over a major city today, it could easily wipe out the entire area. In fact, the power of the explosion was so immense that scientists compare its potential for destruction to a rating of 8 on the Torino scale, a level indicating a definite collision with local devastation. This event has captured the imagination of many and has been featured in numerous works of fiction due to its mysterious and catastrophic nature. Number 2. The creeping expansion of permafrost slumps. Retrogressive thaw slumps, RTS, are a type of landslide that occurs in the frozen landscapes of the Arctic, especially in regions where the ground is covered by permafrost. These landslides happen when ice-rich sections of the permafrost thaw and soften, causing the land to collapse and shift. RTS can spread rapidly, covering several hectares and significantly reshaping Arctic coastlines and frozen terrain. They are considered one of the most active features of thermokarst, which refers to the sinking or collapse of the land as the ice beneath it melts. These RTS landslides form in areas with ice-rich permafrost or glaciers, and they look like large horseshoe-shaped scars on the landscape. As the frozen ground thaws, these slumps grow larger, contributing to the thawing of vast areas of permafrost each year. This process is particularly dramatic in the Northern Hemisphere, where RTS can be found across regions like the Tibetan Plateau, Siberia, the Himalayas, northern Greenland, northern Canada, and Alaska. The largest known retrogressive thaw slump in the world is the Batagaika crater in Siberia, often referred to as a megaslump. This crater is about 1 kilometer long and 100 meters deep, and it continues to grow by about 30 meters each year. The Batagaika crater started forming in the 1960s after the surrounding forest was cleared, which caused the land to begin sinking. Over time, it has become a striking example of how environmental changes can trigger massive shifts in the landscape. Number 1. The gateway to the underworld, Batagaika crater. The gateway to the underworld, a massive crater in Siberia's frozen permafrost, is expanding at an astonishing pace, growing by 35 million cubic feet every year as the ice beneath the surface continues to thaw, according to a recent study. This enormous crater, officially known as the Batagay crater or megaslump, was first identified in 1991 through satellite images. It appeared after a section of a hillside in the Yana uplands of northern Yakutia, Russia, collapsed. The collapse revealed ancient layers of permafrost, some of which have been frozen for as long as 650,000 years, making it the oldest known permafrost in Siberia and the second oldest on Earth. Recent research has found that the Batagay megaslump's cliff face, also called the headwall, is retreating at a rate of 40 feet each year due to the thawing permafrost. The collapsed part of the hillside, which dropped about 180 feet below the headwall, is also quickly melting and sinking deeper into the ground. The study, published in the journal Geomorphology on March 31, highlights that fast-melting permafrost features like this are becoming more common in Arctic and subarctic regions where the ground is rich in ice. However, the Batagay crater stands out due to its immense size and the incredible amount of ice and sediment it's losing. By 2023, this gaping depression had stretched to a width of 3,250 feet, making it an extraordinary and alarming example of how the Earth's permafrost is transforming. What discovery shocked you the most? Do you believe that Siberia holds even more terrifying secrets waiting to be uncovered? Let us know your opinions in the comments below.